Hello, welcome back to the YouTube channel of Bethel Evangelical Free Church Hanley. I'm Pastor Gervais Charnley. This is another historic church in Cumbria. This is St John the Baptist Corney. This is a tiny little medieval building on a hillside some way inland, but you can see the sea from the churchyard. It's a little bit off the coast road as you're going between Muncaster and Bootle. No, not that Bootle, the Bootle here in Cumbria. The church has medieval origins. Quite how old it is indeterminate because it's one of these very simple little buildings. It's been restored in the 18th and 19th centuries, and it has no stained glass windows. It's a simple shepherd's church. So we'll have a look around and see what we can see. As usual, then, we start at the west end, at the back. The door is in fact in the west end, so directly behind me there's a small, well, not so small, Victorian font. This would have replaced a much smaller font that would have been here before. You see the top is this simple stone bowl, and the bottom part is alabaster, and in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit. Lighting: there are old oil lamps which have been converted to electricity. Originally, of course, they would have been oil lamps, and that would have been your lighting. The roof appears to be at least 18th century, if not older. Pews are Victorian at the oldest. The pulpit, although it's a good one, is probably not much older than the pews. Remains of a door there. You can see the staining at the top. I suspect that there was at one point a stove underneath there. Very, very simple structure, just no stained glass, a bit of colour there. And one memorial to Joseph Ben, who was 42 years agent to the Earl of Lonsdale at Lowther. So he died in 1860, age 72. And there we go, looking west, and you can see there's an internal porch and a modern cross above it made of rough timber, which of course is what the cross would have been made of. It part of the whole point about crucifixion, it's being horrible. So that is a very simple interior here, and so let us, there we are, beautiful building. Very simple walls. Apologise for rapid movement back there, but there we go. Very simple whitewashed interior. And now, here's the door. Give it a pull. And there we step out through the porch into the churchyard. The church is normally open in the summer months. It is not in the winter months. You can just see over there, there's the sea that can be seen over there. Trying to do this in one take, actually, which may not be possible, but we shall see. So we've come out now, out of the church, and tried not to fall down a rabbit hole. And you probably can just see there the sea, the waves breaking on the beach. So that is the exit. And so here we are outside at Corney. You can see how small it is. There's a little nave, and then there's a little chancel on the end. And I'm standing here looking at the camera. The sun is just behind a cloud, and behind the camera is a good view out to the Irish Sea. So let's have a look around the outside here. When you mentioned the view out to the Irish Sea, it would have been unfair of me not to actually show it. And that's the view. This is just from the church, south west corner of the churchyard. You can see down to the beach there. And there is this little church in its little landscape. It's on, well, the road here is called Church Brow, and you can see why, because the church is on the brow of a hill. Two bells in a little bell cot on the end, and an unmown churchyard. This is, of course, to promote biodiversity and also to save on mowing. You just see the side there, those two windows, although they look to have been renewed. I suspect that they replaced windows that were very, very similar, but even simpler. And here is the valley below. Like most of these Cumbrian churches, it served a scattered community, so you can see some of these cottages and farms up in the hills. Because here's you come up from the coast to the first ridge inland, and then there's this valley behind, which makes for, of course, good farming territory. You've got a nice river down there, a beck there, and then you've got this hill the church is on, this ridge the church is on, is sheltering everything in the valley behind from the blast of the winter storms coming off the Irish Sea. So everybody wins that way. Right, just carefully negotiate round this gravestone and make sure I know what's underfoot, because here we get a good view up at the church. And there's that simple chancel, so it's incredibly plain, and as these little hill churches are wont to be, simply because the communities that they serve are quite, well, they're very rural, very small, not a lot of money around, and so there you can see the mountains there in the background up to Wasdale. So we're still very much in the Lake District, although this is the bit where the Lake District meets the ocean, the great and mighty ocean. The north wall is not rendered, at least mostly not rendered, and that gives a good opportunity to show what it looks like. It's just this very random rubble, and that is what the church is like.